Rachel Zegler breaks down in tears after realizing Brett Cooper has completely taken over the iconic role of Snow White, and even outshines her in ratings. The Daily Wire's conservative firebrand, Brett Cooper, has officially stepped into the role, and social media is buzzing. Fans are overwhelmingly favoring Brett over Rachel, and it's not hard to see why.
Disney employs thousands and thousands of actors and actresses, and I'm sure that, most of them, if not all, have made statements in the last week lamenting on social media.
Rachel Zegler is facing major backlash, and there's a clear reason why. Originally cast as Snow White, she had big plans to reinvent the classic fairy tale. Gone was the beloved Prince Rescues Princess storyline. Zegler wanted a modern spin. No Prince Charming, no waiting for a hero to save the day. But was this a step too far for Disney? Fans certainly thought so. For them, Snow White is a cherished piece of childhood nostalgia, a dreamy love story with a prince, a princess, and that magical happily ever after. When Zegler's version completely erased the prince, it felt like a betrayal. Imagine expecting a romantic fairy tale, only to find the love story replaced with a modern rewrite. The internet erupted, with fans arguing that some classics should be left untouched. You could almost hear them shouting, "If it ain't broke, don't fix it." But that wasn't the only controversy. Let's talk about the Seven Dwarfs, if we can even call them that anymore. Disney decided to shake things up, replacing little people with taller actors.
Why?
Well, Peter Dinklage, a vocal advocate for representation, called the original portrayal offensive. Disney panicked, scrapped the traditional dwarfs, and opted for a diverse group of taller actors, thinking it would dodge controversy. Spoiler alert, it didn't. Fans were furious, arguing that Disney had erased representation instead of improving it.
Rachel Zegler is the queen of controversy. She even has articles trying to document all of her different scandals. And that doesn't even have all of them. How Disney Snow White star went from Hollywood's newest darling, the film industry's most scandal-ridden person.
This decision only added fuel to the fire. Fans were quick to point out that Disney had a golden opportunity to give 7 little-known actors, literally little, a major spotlight. These roles could have been career-defining for little people in Hollywood. Instead, Disney's choice felt like exclusion masked as progress. And that's not all. Let's circle back to Snow White herself. Casting Rachel Zegler, a Latina actress, stirred its own controversy. Some praised it as a win for diversity, while others weren't as thrilled. Snow White's very identity is tied to her description, skin as white as snow. Changing that struck a nerve with fans who felt the character was being altered beyond recognition. Just when it seemed like things couldn't get worse, leaked set photos hit the internet. Disney's PR team scrambled, claiming the images were fake, but fans weren't buying it. The denial only made the backlash worse. At this point, it feels like Disney is caught in an endless cycle of controversy. Whether it's the missing prince, the not-so-dwarfs, or the heated casting debates, this project is stumbling from one PR disaster to the next.
In addition to just announcing Benke, we also announced Benke's first live-action film, which is Snow White and the Evil Queen. And that's me, I'm Snow White, which is so funny to—
Let's not forget why this all matters. Snow White has been a beloved classic for generations, a fairy tale that has stood the test of time. Fans don't just want to watch a movie. They want to feel the magic, romance, and whimsy they grew up with. Take that away, and what's left? A polarizing remake that alienates the very audience it was meant to delight. And if you thought the drama ended there, think again. Disney doubled down on changes, starting with the title itself. That's right, the remake dropped the 7 dwarfs entirely. Now, it's just Snow White.
Why?
Because the film only features one dwarf character. Naturally, fans were outraged. Many questioned, why even call it Snow White if you're stripping away everything that made it iconic? It's like ordering a pizza and getting breadsticks instead. Sure, it's food, but it's not what you came for. Disney claimed the change was about avoiding offense, but fans saw it as overcorrection. To them, this wasn't about progress. It was about erasing the charm of a beloved story. It's like Disney is trying to balance everything at once, yet pleasing no one in the process. But wait, there's more. Rachel Zegler, who was originally cast as Snow White, didn't just push for removing Prince Charming. She went even further, calling the classic prince a creepy stalker. Yes, she actually said that. It was a bold take, flipping the script on what many consider a timeless love story. While some applauded her for challenging outdated tropes, others were furious. A creepy stalker? Really? For many fans, fairy tales are supposed to be an escape, a magical break from reality. Turning the prince into a villain felt like tearing apart the very fantasy they cherished.
I'm a fan of movies.
And of course, as a few of the cinema-going audience might happen to have daggly bits, it's probably not the best time in the world to start tweeting out, seemingly blaming men for criticizing. You can't criticize me, I'm not an ironing board.
Enter Brett Cooper, the new Snow White under the Daily Wire banner, and she's shaking things up in a big way. Brett wasted no time diving into the drama, making it crystal clear that she's all about sticking to the classic love story. No creepy prince, no rewriting history, just the sweet, magical fairy tale that everyone remembers. Her stance struck a chord with a lot of people. For fans who felt betrayed by Disney's modern take, Cooper's version became a beacon of hope. It was like someone finally saying, hey, we get it. You love the original, and we're here to bring it back. Imagine being told that everything you adored about a childhood classic was suddenly wrong. That's exactly how many fans felt, and Cooper's take was the antidote they needed. But hold on to your tiaras, because here's where things get really interesting. The Daily Wire isn't just casting Brett Cooper, they're making their own Snow White movie. That's right, a full-on remake that promises to stay faithful to the original fairy tale. Talk about throwing down the gauntlet. This move sent shockwaves through Hollywood, and now fans are eagerly waiting to see which version will win their hearts. On one side, you have Disney's ultra-modern Snow White, ditching the prince and the dwarfs for a fresh, progressive take. On the other, the Daily Wire is going all in on nostalgia, delivering a faithful retelling packed with classic fairy tale vibes. And here's the real plot twist. The rivalry got so intense that Disney decided to delay their movie. Originally set for a 2024 release, the new Snow White won't hit theaters until 2025. That's right. The entertainment giant stepped back, maybe even rethinking some of their decisions. Why the delay? Some say Disney is trying to avoid a direct box office showdown with the Daily Wire's version. Others speculate they're scrambling to adjust their creative direction after the massive backlash. Whatever the reason, it's not every day that a powerhouse like Disney blinks in the face of competition.
I feel like we are in the same boat that Disney and Walt Disney was in 100 years ago because we are attempting something huge. We're going up against Disney. We have our critics, but we have passion and we have a mission in mind that is bigger than just this movie.
Now, the fan reaction has turned into a full-blown fairy tale showdown. It's like a sports rivalry, but instead of touchdowns and three-pointers, it's princesses and dwarfs. On one side, you've got fans backing Disney's bold changes, arguing that it's time to break free from outdated stereotypes. Why shouldn't Snow White be her own hero? They ask. On the flip side, you've got fans rallying behind the Daily Wire's version, believing the magic of the original story is irreplaceable. They want the prince, the dwarfs, and that happily ever after charm intact. It's a battle of modernity versus nostalgia, and neither side is backing down. The stakes are high, and the big question remains: which Snow White will win over audiences? Will Disney's progressive take redefine what a fairy tale can be, or will the Daily Wire's classic approach remind us why we fell in love with these stories in the first place? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more updates on Rachel Zegler and the woke Snow White controversy. See you in the next one.